Hi there, this is Joe from SquareXO and this is episode 54. Today I'm joined by Nicole.
Hello.
And Rebecca.
Hi guys.
Okay, coming up in the show today, we've got the news, our topic of the week, some user questions, we'll be talking about what we've played, and the game's coming out soon, and then we'll say goodbye. So that's today's show, so let's get on with the news. I've completely forgot to do all our Twitch stuff, but I'll do it at the end. I'll do it at the end, listeners, so don't worry if we haven't drummed into you enough already about how much, about where to follow us and all that, then you're getting more of it at the end of the show, okay? Because I just completely forgot. It's just one of those days, I'm afraid. So, okay, let's get straight into news then. Shadow of Tomb Raider is coming out on September 14th. Yeah. We all saw the trailer, I presume, yeah?
No, I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? I thought you'd be quite keen to watch that one.
I was, but I just kept forgetting because it was just in the middle of a very hectic kind of week. So I was really excited though, but I will have to look now.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Have a look at that then. So yeah, quite looking forward to that. We've known about it for quite some time actually, because it was leaked about a year ago when someone left a laptop or something on a train with all the name of the... I think they were going to a presentation and on the laptop it said it, Shadow Tomb Raider. I remember it. I don't remember the exact details, but I just remember the name of the game. So the fact that it's come out now, which obviously means it was a true leak. So there you go. But yeah, not a lot seen. The full reveal's on April 27th, so we'll find out more then. But yeah, so far so good. Speaking of sort of games of that ilk, God of War, that's actually had a lot of previews today, but the footage leaked over the weekend. It was got a B-roll. Somebody's obviously been to the event and just leaked the entire B-roll onto the internet, which is just basically a bunch of unedited footage of gameplay and some cutscenes that they give journalists so that they can take it back with them and edit it into sort of video. But you're not actually meant to obviously leak the B-roll because it's nothing. It's just got this big bunch of unedited footage, which doesn't mean anything really. So whoever done that's a bit silly. Don't know why they would do that, but it was cool seeing it. It looks amazing. The gameplay looks brilliant. It looks total the sort of thing I love. God of War, I think it's a great game. So, and it just looks like the action's just spot on. So I'm looking forward to that. Did anyone see it?
I haven't watched it. I know of it, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, same.
I will at some point.
Same.
Yeah, I watched that one then. Yeah, so Sega Mega Drive collections headed to PC, PS4 and Xbox One. This is the collection that was actually on PS3 before. Don't know if anyone knows anything about it. It's actually kept its value quite well on PS3, I noticed. But it's one of these games a lot of people must be after or something. The fact that it's kept its value. I think it's got like all the original Sonic games on it. I've still got the PS3 version, but I can't remember what's on it. It's just completely with my head, probably because I've not played it for ages. I think it's the set includes Sonic the Hedgehog, Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, Shining Force, Phantasy Star 2, and around 45 more games. So that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's a lot of content.
It is a lot.
It's quite a lot of games. I can see why it's kept its value in PS3 now that I know what's on it, because it'd be cool playing Echo the Dolphin on PS4. How about that? Just if Sega ever decided to make some remasters, it's got quite a catalogue, hasn't it, that it could actually remaster properly.
Yeah.
A remaster of the original Sonic or whatever, which is basically Sonic Mania, isn't it? That's kind of like a remaster of the original Sonics, I guess. But Echo the Dolphin could be pretty cool, especially if they'd done it in VR. That'd be quite cool. Quite like that. You could swim with the dolphins. I think that made me feel a bit sick though.
Yeah. So everything would be off me, I think.
Toys R Us is no more, basically. They're going to shut all their stores in the UK with 3,000 jobs lost.
Yeah, I saw that. It's wow, sad.
I don't think they've found a buyer. Same with Maplin, actually. They're off as well. They've went into administration. So Maplin, Toys R Us. So it's all quite depressing, really, that they're all gone. But Maplin more than Toys R Us. I kind of remember walking about Toys R Us with the kids and stuff, though, so it's a bit sad it's going. I mean, it was just somewhere to go and walk round circles. Well, they sort of rode about on the little bikes and stuff.
Yeah, I used to go there just for, kill some time, so...
Yeah. So, no, that's sad, but oh well. What can you do with it? Dante is heading to Monster Hunter World in our Devil May Cry collaboration event later this year. I'm not really a fan of Monster Hunter World or Dante really, but oh well, I'm sure someone will like it. It's cool, I guess. It doesn't bore me. I mean, it's like basically just a skin, isn't it? It just Bungy's skin in with his moves, I guess, and he just goes along beating up monsters, I guess. Don't know. I guess that's how it'll work. That's how these things normally work, in it. It doesn't really change the gameplay that much, does it?
No, not really. It's just a little throwback, isn't it, really?
Yeah, nice little aesthetic. I like it.
No, I'd say that. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered 2's been spotted. We've obviously already had the first game been remastered, which I think sold very well. So, yeah, the part 2's been spotted. I wonder if they'll bung it in with a game again and only give it to the people who buy, say, Black Ops 4 or whatever.
I hope not.
What they did before.
Because I didn't like it when they did that, because it was like, it kind of brought into light how much kind of faith they actually had in the series, because it was like, oh, okay, well, we'll sell this new game that we've developed, but we'll have to put one of the better Call of Duties with it just in case, just to up the sales. Like, to me, that doesn't indicate that they've got much hope for it. So I hope they don't do that.
Well, the fact that it's been spotted as a listen on its own perhaps suggests that they won't do it that way.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Star Wars has been updated. I've not played Battlefront for ages, actually, Battlefront 2. So the progression system's been updated. It was one of those games I was really, really, really looking forward to. And then I just kind of... And probably never played much of it after it came out, to be honest. Even though I really like it. Strange. I don't know why. It's just I never really get into it as much as I did the first one. Even though I still really like it. Maybe I'll go back to it one day. I don't know what put me off of it. I think that's all it is. I think it was just that sort of time of year. Maybe I was playing Switch or playing Uncharted or something. I don't know. And I've just never really get back to getting round to it again. So hopefully one day I'll bother. But there is too many games sometimes, and you just kind of get a bit distracted and just forget about some things, really, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming to the West. I think Rob's happy about that, from what I can gather. I don't know. I played the first... Did I play the first one? I might have played the demo or something. But it's not generally my type of thing, so I don't know what about it. And also, you seemed very excited that Warriors Orochi 4 has been officially announced as well. Again. I don't know why he's excited, but hey, he seemed excited, so I thought I'd best mention it, because if he's excited, then I'm sure the people who like those sort of games are excited too. So, there we go. And Lego The Incredibles has come to Switch, PS4, PC, Xbox One. If I was going to choose a new Lego game, The Incredibles is probably the last thing I would thought of.
Yeah. There's a lot more they could do, isn't there, before?
I didn't think The Incredibles was maybe that popular thing. I don't know, maybe it is.
It's because of it'd be because of the new one, isn't it?
Oh, is there a new one coming?
Well, the sequel's meant to be coming out. this
Hasn't
year.
Incredibles 2 already been out? Aren't we up at number 3 now?
No,
we?
it's
Number
it's just
two?
number 2. It was quite a big like it was very kind of, it was a fan favorite kind of Disney movie. So in a way I'm not surprised, but
I remember the kids enjoying it, but that was a long time ago. That's a pretty old movie now, that first one. That's why I thought we'd have had a sequel by now. Because obviously the first one's pretty old, isn't it? That's got to be years old.
I think it'll make quite a good one though. Honestly.
Yeah, it might be alright. I don't know. It might be, yeah. It just didn't strike me as one that they would do. Maybe I thought they would do a new Avengers or something. I don't know. Maybe they need to try something away from Marvel. Marvel's.
Maybe.
I think I'm getting a bit bored of Marvel. There's so many movies coming out. It's that there always seems to be a new one every 6 months. I mean, I like the Avengers and stuff, but when I saw that new Avengers 2, I was thinking to myself, oh, again? I swear I only just watched one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them, but it's like, geez, I remember going to cinema, we went to see one, and it wasn't really that long ago, I don't think. Maybe it was, maybe time just flies. But it doesn't feel like that long ago. And now there's a new one coming. It's like crazy. They just sort of... The new one looks good though, with the Guardians of the Galaxy in it. I quite like that, but...
I can't wait to see Chris Pratt in it. Like, let's not go there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of what's right, but it's just a bit... I don't know. Sometimes I just wish there was a bit more of a gap between them. It's a bit like Star Wars. You don't get any for ages, and now there's one a year. And I've not even seen the new Star Wars yet, that Last Jedi. I've not seen it, and I love Star Wars. I'm the biggest fan, but nobody go to cinema
Nobody go with
me.
you.
No.
Aww.
So I'm going to watch. I'm looking forward to watching it next month, and when it comes out on Blu-ray. And I've avoided all spoilers, so even better. I don't know anything about it, so I'm quite happy about that.
Keep it that way.
Okay, in the charts. Unsurprisingly, Burnout Paradise is number 1. Kirby Star Allies is number 2. FIFA 18 is number 3. Grand Theft Auto is still there at number 4. Mario Kart 8 number 5. Mario Odyssey number 6. Pug Bus 7. UFC 3 is number 8. Fallout 4 is number 9. And Zelda's number 10. So it's a kind of EA Nintendo top 10 really. I wonder where the big surge of Switch came from. That's quite impressive. There's quite a lot of Switch titles in the top 10, so I don't know why that would be. I mean, Kirby obviously only just came out last week, but I don't know about other titles, why they're getting so popular, but who knows. Maybe Switch is on its way up again. And that's the gaming news. So, over to Rebecca.
Okay, so we'll start our topic for this week then. This week we're doing a topic based on a question that somebody asked us a few weeks back on Twitter, and that question was, is there any particular genre of gaming that you guys avoid and just won't give a go at, no matter what the game is? If it's under that genre, will you guys just avoid it? And I thought we'd all have a little bit of a discussion about which ones we don't like personally. So I'll start. I don't like sort of like multiplayer shooters, Star Wars Battlefront, Overwatch, stuff that Nicole likes, basically. Destiny 2, stuff like that. But I think I admire them for what they are, but the reason that I don't like them personally is that I don't have a good enough internet connection to get, a multiplayer game going, and I'm very attracted to narrative strong games, so I really like the story games or the adventure games, like Uncharted, Last of Us, stuff like that. So I do admire the I don't know what genre you'd call that, I guess multiplayer shooters. While I do admire them for what they are, and I know that a lot of people do like them, I just cannot seem to get into them. And I played the demo for Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 when it was released on the PlayStation Store a few weeks before its purchase a few years ago. And I was playing it and I was like, but when does the game actually start? Do you know what I mean? I was like, when does the story like really take over? And everyone was like, oh yeah, no, it's not too much of a story. It's more you know, you play with your friends and you take down enemies. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't think I'm going to carry on playing this then. But I think if I was with the right group of friends and it was something, you know, fun and something that appealed to me, I'd definitely give it a go. Because I do like multiplayer in Bloodborne. I think that's really good fun. And the Sea of Thieves multiplayer was really good fun. But I just can't seem to like Destiny or Star Wars Battlefront 2 or Star Wars Battlefront. Maybe it's because, you know, I'm not a big fan of, you know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the shooter type genre. And I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars. Don't attack me in the comments.
No.
But it does just not appeal to me at all. And I feel like if it was free, I'd give it a go. But I'm very much, I don't like spending my money unless it's something I know I'm going to love, which is why I sort of avoid that genre. But that's me. I just want to know what you guys
I
have.
kind
I know
of
what you
agree
mean
with
there,
you.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't really like multiplayer shooters. I mean, I like Star Wars because it's Star Wars, but otherwise, I don't really play multiplayer games.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm with you, whereas I prefer the more narratively driven ones. So got Uncharted, Last of Us. Although, if I was to pick one right now, I wouldn't pick multiplayer shooters. I'd pick Japanese games.
Why?
Because
I knew you were going to say that.
You just don't like them?
I just don't. I've just life's too short to play Japanese games as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I tried that Persona, and I think it took about 2 hours before you actually got to use the controller. It's just text. I mean, I like games like Skyrim where I can sort of, but at least there you can wander along, you can talk, you're in the game straight away. Whereas Japanese games, you spend about 2 hours in between walking around, and it's just that I just can't be dealing with this. And the other thing that annoys me about them is a lot of the time they feel so basic. They feel like PS3 games to me a lot of the time. With Nier, that felt like a PS3 game to me. I tried playing it, it just felt empty, and it was just weird, and I just didn't like it. And I think that's the other thing I don't like about them is they're a bit weird. I mean, I'm offered weird sometimes. I mean, that's cool. I can, if it's as long as it entertains me, but they don't entertain me. I find them boring. I just think they drag on too much, and that's why I'm not really into them. They just go on, and that's not for me, really. I'd rather I could probably play 3 games I really like and complete them in the time that it'll take me to actually get to use the controller in the Japanese game. So that's just not for me. I know loads of people like them. Rob's probably sitting there thinking, but
probably plotting the ways he wants to kill you.
But I mean, sometimes you just don't like certain games that I've just never really been into them. Not at all.
What about you, Nicole?
Well, as I've stated many a time, I'm like a very diverse, laid-back gamer in that where a game might slack in some aspects, it can be redeemed in others in my eyes. However, I just can't get into horror games. I literally cannot stand them. I've never been a huge fan of horror movies. I don't like gore, don't like jump scares and ghosts and whatnot, and they've never sat well with me, and it's definitely something that's carried on like into like video games for me. Like I've always tried to like wean myself into the genre by playing like the more atmospheric horrors that could be considered more thrillers, like BioShock, Metro, even The Last of Us. But nothing about the genre directly appeals to me. I don't get a kick out of being scared, you know, I just get nightmares. So it bothers me at times because obviously there's great series that are widely credited, like Resident Evil and stuff like that I'd really want to get into. But if I'm to play a game that's got any kind of horror aspects, it would be something like Dying Light or, like I said, a thriller kind of title. Just something with a comedic element that doesn't portray it as a horror title in, you know, it's something different. So yeah, I'm a wimp. I don't like horror titles.
I think though some Resident Evil games are less scary than Dying Light. You know, Dying Light. The thing about that makes it scary is, obviously you're so vulnerable, and when if you're still outside in the world when the sun sets, there's this real panic that comes from, oh my gosh, I need to get away. And there's an opening scene where you have to go and get Antizan, isn't there? And all of them chase you. That scared me more than so many parts from Resident Evil. I mean, Resident Evil games are more about obviously there's still zombies in there, but it's more about, I think, being overrun by zombies. There's not really, especially in the earlier games, like 4 or 5, there's not really too many jump scares. It's more just about, like, you're in an area, you have no ammo, and there's 50 zombies coming. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. Which I like, but the later ones, so Resident Evil 7 is horrifying. It's so scary.
Yeah.
The earlier ones, they have a few horror elements in them, but they're more like, survival horror. A bit like Last of Us, but obviously a little bit more dated.
See, when you're playing games that are scary, or not even scary, games that are sort of action intense, and you're just surrounded or whatever, and getting shot at from all angles, does it ever make you, I don't know if the word's scared, but a bit on edge?
Yeah.
Or frustrated? And
Frustration, 100%.
You don't want to get killed? Because I get that all the time, where if I'm playing a game where I've been playing the level, and it's just got, you're near the end of the level, but then they have all these enemies coming at you, and you're just don't want to get killed, and you feel really on edge. Don't want to start. I feel that way all the time with games, and it's like, I should be enjoying this, not pure on edge.
Oh no, it makes me so angry. So Resident Evil 5's opening, you obviously have a co-op partner who's a computer, and they send so many zombies at you, and I swear 9 out of 10 times the co-op partner just stands next to you like, what should I do? What should I do? Tell me what. And it's like, shoot the zombies, or give me health, or like help me out. She just stands by your side, like, or she gets stuck somewhere and you've got to go and get her. And that frustrates me, because it's like, I'm dying here, I have no health, no ammo, there's hundreds coming after me, and you're stuck like against a wall. Like, no.
Yeah, no, that reminds me of the part in The Last of Us. Like, it's not a major spoiler, but you're in the subway and you have to basically get past all the clickers to get to the ladder, and it's like, Ellie's there, and they all start like slamming the ladder down and stuff. And if you've not killed the clickers, it's genuine, like, it's proper intense. You're like, oh my god, like, let's not make noise. Like, these things are, they work by echolocation. Like, that's not.
I was like that. Last of Us is so clever like that, though. I think that's one of the like pinnacle games for actually really conveying the horror elements to it. Like, all the sections with the clickers, you're just like, if we make any noise, we're dead.
Literally. But no, I can't stand like actual full-on horror games. I'm trying to think of a good, like, something like Outlast.
Well, that's horrifying.
I like
Outlast is scarier than everything you've mentioned.
No, literally, but like something like Outlast, I don't think I could play. Like, I mean, I couldn't play it at all. Like, I've seen people play it because I want to see what it's about, because I think the concept of the game is really clever. But then I've looked at people play it and I'm like, oh my god, like, what is wrong with you? How can you do that? I just can't. Ugh. Not my
I do definitely like horror games, but I do get a bit apprehensive when I think about buying a horror game compared to buying like a story narrative, because I really want to get I'd like to get into the Dead Space games. But then when I think about the Dead Space concept, I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that unless I'm in a room in the middle of the day with all the lights on, with people in the room next door talking. I could not play that game. Like, I could play a story narrative, like I could play Lost Legacy, for example. I could play like in the middle of the night, in the dark with headset on, because it doesn't frighten me at all, because it's not a scary game. Something that's remotely scary, I'm like, I have to completely change the environment. But I do have this weird attraction to horror games where I'm like, I want to play it, even if I know it's going to freak me out. So, I think that's what horror games are about, though, isn't it? It's meant to be like, it's a thrill, isn't it? You get off the thrill.
Yeah, I just don't. I get scared, and I'll go to bed and be thinking about everything that was scary in that game, and that'll go into my dream, and I'll wake up in a sweat, and I'll be like, oh my god, what's going on? And I won't be able to get back to sleep.
You've done it to yourself as well. That's the worst bit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I did that to myself.
I have myself to blame.
But no, I'm not surprised actually at the answers. I think they're quite common. I think a lot of people don't like horror games, a lot of people don't like Japanese games, and a lot of people don't like shooters. But I would like to know what the Twitter community thinks. So if anybody has a certain genre they don't want to ever get involved in, then feel free to comment it at the bottom of the podcast episode, and we can all have a chat about it there. And then we're ready to hang on to the next topic, which is going to be, let me just look, User questions by Nicole.
Oh, right. So, user questions. Our first one this week is from Kieran Rosa, who asks, if you could apply the Battle Royale mode to an existing franchise, what would it be? Kieran goes on to then say he feels it would be implemented well in the Halo series. So, does anyone...
I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Battle Royale is the King of the Hill kind of last man standing.
Like
you kind
Fortnite
of,
and stuff.
Yeah, Fortnite.
So it's basically just King of the Hill with a different name, is it?
Yeah, like what series do you think that would be implemented well in? I think it would work quite well in like the Borderlands series.
Yeah, quite a few.
It would work well with Borderlands, I reckon. That would be good. It'd be kind of more flamboyant and eccentric. I think it'd be really fun.
There is King of the Hill modes in a lot of multiplayer though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, loads.
Yeah, but it's good. It's a good mode.
I think we found another thing that Joe doesn't like.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why it's called Battle Royale. Is it just a fancy name for King of the Hill?
Yeah, it's a fancy name.
Yeah, it's just, the circle shrinking and being the last person standing. It's just a fancy name for it.
Yeah, it's quite a good idea. Oh, if that's how it works, I quite like that anyway. I quite like modes like that. They're quite fun. Although I prefer the ones where you've got a team and it's sort of rather than one person, because I would never win if it's just one person. Not unless I find somewhere to hide.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you find somewhere to hide?
Yeah, does that work?
Yeah, well, in Fortnite, they basically, a big deal is people used to kind of hide in bushes, so they'd kind of wait on the outskirts of a circle that was kind of closing in, and as everyone was flooding in to try and avoid the storm, they'd hide in bushes and kind of pick them off, and they've made like a bush potion now, so you can like be dressed up as a bush. So, and you can carry around a bush with you,
kind of
sit in
when
people.
As a bush.
Yeah, so if someone's walking past and say you don't have the ammo to take them on, or you're trying to bait them or something, you can kind of hide in the bush. Like it's a really fun idea. Honestly, Rebecca, I'm surprised you.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Called,
I like the idea of hiding in the bush and not getting shot. I might actually win a mode if I could do that. So,
it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So our second question is from Matt2004 Hoop, who asks, "Do you think developers should make some trophies harder to obtain? He claims he spent 2 hours on Burnout, attaining a grand total of 22 trophies, but some of them seemed a little too simple to attain in regards to the likes of The Last of Us, where you'd get like 2 or 3 trophies for a whole playthrough. He was getting like 22 for playing for a couple of hours. I mean, like personally, I find that obviously a lot of games offer a mixture, so I don't think there would be a need to make them more difficult. But I find it spurs me on when I'm playing a game and I'm getting loads of trophies doing it.
Yeah.
And in some cases, it even encourages me to get platinums I'd otherwise not considered. But, I mean, what do you guys think?
I think I agree with you. I think there are quite a few games out there that have a healthy mix, and obviously the idea is that you get trophies as you go through the natural landmarks of the game. So if it's something where you have to... so like Horizon Zero Dawn, you had to get all the skills in one of your skill trees, and you do that naturally through the game. So you're like, oh, there's a trophy. Or you get them if you basically tame all the robots. Oh, there's another trophy. I think that game's trophies worked out really well, because it was a point where you could play for about 3 hours and you'd probably get like 1 trophy. And if you played for like 10 hours, you'd get about 5. You know what I mean? It felt like... It didn't feel like you were searching for them, but it felt like if the harder ones were there and they sort of did spur you on to go, now you've done 90% of the work, but the last 10% will get you a gold trophy. Just go to this area and do what you've, basically the last part of the story you've missed when you might have been doing side quests. So I think a nice mix of both. I do have to admit, I did get really frustrated myself when I finished The Last of Us, and I found out that I'd only got 3 trophies from the whole game. I was like, what? I was like, 3? I was like, no way, I must have got more than 3 because I finished the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you, Jay?
See, I've just been thinking about it, and I think in the case of something like Burnout, it's just such a fun game that I don't think you should be focusing on trophies. I think you should be focusing on playing the game and just enjoying the game. I mean, you don't buy a game to get the trophies. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong, I think. I think you should be buying the game to just enjoy the game, and the trophies should just be a bonus.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should put too much emphasis on them, really.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But I don't really care about trophies, but that's just how I feel about it. If I get them, I get them. If I don't. That's how I feel.
Each to their own. Right. So our next question is, as always, from Rude Cold, who asks if any of us are going to Res this year, stating he will be unable to attend, but hoping to make it to EGX towards the tail end of the year, which I could just answer and say I won't be able to make it to Res, but EGX I'm definitely hoping to accompany Rebecca to.
Yeah, that would be nice, because last year I had so much work to do and it wasn't fun. But I am going to Res in April. If anybody is going there who wants to chat, come and find me. I'll be hanging around somewhere. I'll be there all 3 days.
Joe?
Nah, I'm not going to Rest. I don't know about EGX yet. That's something I'll need to wait and see, really. No plans at the moment for either. But EGX maybe, but definitely not Rest.
Okie dokie. Right, so at Houster34 asks if we've seen the new Tomb Raider movie. He was expecting to be disappointed by it, but in fact really enjoyed it. So has anyone besides me seen it?
Nope.
No, not yet.
Okay,
Don't
right.
go crazy, Nicole.
Literally, right. I've been so desperate
Don't spoil
to talk about
it, though.
this. No, I'm not gonna spoil it. Right, I've literally been so desperate to talk about it because I saw it literally last night.
Did you?
Yeah, it's oh my god. I was very dubious about it. In having how the game it's based off in quite high regard, as obviously you know. But I really, really loved it. It felt like a different rendition, if you will, of the events that happened in the Tomb Raider reboot, and the dogs are barking. So it carried over the myth of Yamatai and Himiko really well, and unlike a lot of kind of games to movies that have been released, it didn't feel like a budget rip-off. It felt like a different kind of take, and it was just really impressive. The cast was brilliant. I really enjoyed it, and like my other half, who's not played the Tomb Raider reboot, really enjoyed it too, which to me indicates it's great for both those who have and haven't played the game. So I was really, really impressed with it, and I'm very, very critical when it comes to like movie of kind of games adaptations. That I don't take kindly to them, especially after Assassin's Creed. Oh my god, that hurt me. That physically hurt me.
See, when it comes to movies based in games, I don't want there really to be anything to do with the game in the movie. If you know what I mean, I think that's the ones that are best are the ones that don't rely too much in the game.
Yeah,
just stick to the sort of concept.
Yeah, that's what it achieved. I think obviously the main kind of aspects from the Tomb Raider reboot was obviously the fact that Lara's not some superhuman; she's vulnerable. And obviously it was just the kind of myth of Yamatai and obviously the Queen Himiko, and it just kind of felt like it was loosely based off that and not kind of... It just felt... It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It's hard to put into words how much I enjoyed it, but seriously, go watch it.
That's the main thing, isn't it? That's the main thing that it's good, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I'll watch it at some point.
Good. Right, so finally... Sean One Neo asked Rebecca specifically, after starting twice and spending 4 hours to finally get past the bonfire on Bloodborne, how many more hours should I spend before deciding this game is not for me? Now, I know you said before, Rebecca, that you didn't warm to Bloodborne straight away. I'm pretty sure you said that. Yeah. So I'm really interested to hear your answer here.
Okay, so I distinctly remember the first time I played Bloodborne, it was in my university dorm, and I was just talking to my housemates. I was like, I'm just playing this new game, I'm really excited. And then I went out an hour later to make my dinner, and they were like, how's that game? Do you like it? And I was like, I can't do it. I think I'm going to return it. I literally, I took an hour, and I was like, I can't do it. The thing is, I think with Bloodborne, there's sort of a breakthrough moment, and it's different for every player when they realise how to play the game, because Bloodborne is very harsh in teaching you what you need to know. It's not one of these games that goes, oh, you did a mistake there, but we'll let you have the mistake. It's very, you did a mistake there, so now you're dead. I think for me, it probably took me sorry, I just pulled my own headphone out. For me, it probably took me about a week, maybe even longer than that, a week and a half, to really nail it, but I was quite determined because I'd seen some things that happened later on in the game, and I wanted to fight the bosses, and I wanted to fight them through the DLC, which had just been announced when I started playing Bloodborne. So it was just about determination, and there's little helpful pointers along the way, and I can always send you messages, which is what I've been doing for a few people since it's been on the PS Plus for March this month. But it is literally just about sticking with it and just learning not to be greedy, and eventually you do get to a point where you sort of feel like you have the upper hand against the game, and it's such a good feeling because you're like, I can actually do this. So yeah, just stick with it. You'll get there in the end.
Well, there you go, Sean. Grin and bear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right. So that's all for you questions. So thank you to everyone who asked. And now it's time for what we've been playing. So do you want to get the ball rolling, Rebecca? What have you been playing?
Okay, so I haven't played anything this week, but I can finally talk about playing Cube, which was under embargo last time we did a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I've been playing Cube 2, which is good fun. Very strange because the first time I, downloaded it from the review code and played it, the first chapter I'd already played at EGX, so it came really naturally, and I was like, oh, this is easy, I know what I'm doing. And then as soon as I got out of that demo chapter, it just got really hard. And obviously, when you play something that's still embargoed, there's no walkthroughs for it. So you just have to grin and bear it, or you sit looking at puzzles for about 3 hours. I don't know, I can't understand, I don't get it. I'd managed to get to the end of the game without looking at any walkthroughs. I just did it out of pure, I think this goes there, let's try this. Oh, that was an accident, but it worked, so we'll go with it. But it's really, really good. It's really good fun. Compared to the first one, it looks amazing. Everything's sort of cel-shaded, and the background and the environment around you are really detailed, and the narrative's really good. There's a really interesting story that flows through it. It's one of those stories where you are as unaware as the protagonist, which means you sort of learn through the story with them, which is really fun because it means that every single time narrative starts up, you're really invested and you're like, what's going to happen? What's this going to reveal? And yeah, it's just honestly a really good game. And for the price it is right now, I'd say that, if you'd liked Cube 1, the first one, definitely go pick the second one up because it's amazing. It's got the stronger narrative, it's got all these beautiful colours, and the environments are so fleshed out now, and the puzzles are fantastic. They're so unique, and I think there's 80 puzzles or something like that. But yeah, really, really good fun. It's a really good game, and I've just been playing it ever since the review came out because I wanted to go back and do some of the puzzles following walkthroughs so I could do them much quicker than I could the first time. But yeah, honestly, really good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know you were pretty psyched about getting it. So
I was, yeah.
Good. So, Joe, what have you been playing?
Whew, a lot.
A lot.
As you may know, if you look at the site, I've done
That's
quite
true.
a lot of reviews recently, actually. So let's sort of start way back. I'm trying to think. Right, Beast Quest, I'll start with that because that's dreadful.
Oh.
So yeah, not good. It's kind of aimed at children, I think, but it's cheesy acting, it's cheesy combat, it's not fun.
Cheesy.
It's just terrible. I think everything about it, and I wasn't really impressed. I think it wasn't really well made. It looks like a PS3 game. It's I don't know. It's just cheesy voice acting. It tries to be funny and it's not. So yeah, that's about all I've got to say about that. But another game, if we want to speak about terrible games that I played, is Bravo Team for PSVR.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Again,
I was waiting for this.
I like Bravo Team.
Dreadful. You
Really?
get stuck behind scenery, the aiming and controls don't work properly. The story's, I don't even know what the story's all about, it's just weird. It's so brown as well. It's just not a very nice looking game. It's just, it's dreadful. Another dreadful game. It's another game I just don't like to talk about it because that's how bad it is. Whereas completely the opposite on PSVR is Moss, which is just absolutely amazing. Such a good game. I mean, Rob reviewed this, but I done a little video review for it as well because I liked it so much. It's just cracking, so it is. I mean, it's like you just get put in this world, and it's like a platformer, I guess. But you're just following a wee mouse along, and the way it sort of implements it's great because even though he's the main character, he sort of looks up at you, and you can help him by, you can like pull out the scenery so that he can jump up on platforms. Or
Cool.
if he's attacking, if creature's attacking him, you can basically hold that creature and freeze it in place to sort of give him the upper hand to defeat it. But you can also take control of these creatures and use them to solve puzzles. But if they have an attack, you can use their attack to hit hard to reach places and stuff like that. And as you look around the environments and stuff, it's just all so impressive. It's probably the best use of PlayStation VR I've ever seen, to be honest. That's how good it is. And it's like an indie game. So, I mean, it's just so impressive. Just really, really impressed with it. I can't say into words how impressive it is. Also played Life is Strange Farewell, which is the bonus episode of Before the Storm, and that was about an hour long, and it wasn't really as good as all the other episodes, just because it's I don't know, it's wrapping it up. It's a little bit sad near the end, but there's not really a lot to do. You kind of tidy in a room 1 minute, and then you're pretending to be like a pirate or something.
Yeah.
So it's a bit weird, but it's alright. It's good enough for a bonus episode, I guess. So I got a review of it on the site. There's also a review for Frantics, which is another game I played. She's never heard me play so many games. Frantics is Frantics is a really good Playlink game. It's basically you all play together using your phones as you do in Playlink, and it's just a series of mini games really. There's all sorts of mini games in it. Like you can be in an office chair and you have to sort of ping it like elastic to get close to the target, the centre of the target, the bullseye, I guess you'd call it. A bit like that game where what's it called again? The game where you play the ice and you have to get the thing as close as you can to the centre. Do you know the game I mean? It's like ice with a big target, and then you need to knock it out the way. The name of the game is completely
I can't think
with my head, but it's that's one of my favourite games. But there's so many. There's ones with parachutes and there's got racing ones and stuff. There's got Trappy Field where you need to head over to get a bowl of soup, but there's mines and springs and stuff, so you have to avoid them, and while everybody else is trying to avoid them as well, and get to the soup first and bring it back again. No, but it's cool. Curling, that's what I was thinking of. Curling, yeah, it's like that, one of the games. But yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, it's only a little cheap game, and obviously it's probably something you wouldn't play pure tons, but it's fun for everybody to play together. So yeah, it's excellent. A few more games. The American Dream, that's just weird. It's a PSVR game. It's brilliant, but it's weird. It's completely out there. Basically, everything you do with guns. So like you start off as a baby and you get given a gun, and then your mum shoots cereal at your face with her gun. So like, you're getting cereal shot into your face, and then the game's basically like a ghost train style where you go through different levels from birth all the way up to like age 26 or something.
God,
and as you go through, the levels get bizarre. So there's one level where you're working in a burger store and you have to shoot the burgers to flip them, and then shoot again to put the order up. And then there's another one where you have to shoot, you're working in a car wash and you have to shoot the dirt off the cars to clean them. That's
Is this made by Americans?
It's made by Australians, basically taking the mickey out of Americans and their obsession for guns. So when you're conceiving a baby, you have to get your wife pregnant, and you basically just shoot her pregnant with a gun.
That's insane.
And all you
What the
hear
hell?
during the scene is the scene goes completely black, and all you hear is oh,
Oh no, that's weird.
My son walked in when I was playing it, and he's going, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I know."
Was that an on-point impression of the sound effects? Was it?
Yeah, that was just a quick impression. Yeah, but no, it was so funny. It's just like, this game is completely nuts. If it sounds nuts, it is. Believe me. But yeah, it's just bizarre. And then there's another bit where you're in a restaurant, and like the waiter blasts your table clean with a shotgun, and that you have to eat your dinner with your gun, so your dinner comes out and you shoot it with your gun until it's all gone. It's basically just like that all the way through.
That's so strange.
It is very strange, but it's quite funny in a way as well. It's sort of funny, strange. I gave it a good score just because it's just bizarre and it's funny, and it's just kind of taking the mickey out of how the guns is such an important part of American life. It's just really funny, but strange, as you may have gathered. And probably the favourite game I've been playing is Burnout Paradise, which is
Obviously
friggin' awesome. It's not a lot's changed from what I can gather. I mean, it looks a bit better. You can really tell it's missing HDR though, because when you've played like Forza Horizon or some of the other games with HDR, you really notice the sort of lack of colour compared to the more modern games. But it still looks fantastic, and best of all, it still plays fantastic. I just forgot how much I like it. It's got one of these games that was ahead of its time, because when you play it now, it's still just as good as when you played it then. It's just so much fun. All the crashes and the speed of it, and just all this sort of different nooks and crannies you can go into and find secrets and jumps, and it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's probably my favourite game released this year, I'd say, easily. It's just brilliant. Really, really good. So yeah. Whew. So I've played a lot.
Tell me about it, gosh. I'm glad you're impressed with Burnout though, because obviously you was looking forward to that, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Right, well, much like yourself, Joe, the first game I've delved into this week is the farewell bonus episode of Life is Strange, and I too wasn't particularly thrilled by the gameplay in the episode and itself. I found it quite boring in comparison to the events of the main game, but in contrast, I was totally torn apart by the ending. It was so emotional, and I know what Sean was talking about on Twitter now. But oh my gosh, it was insane. But as you said, Joe, it's a lovely little bonus episode, and I can't complain because it's more Life is Strange, and I love Life is Strange. So, but that aside, I've put a good few more hours into Digimon Story Hacker's Memory. But at the moment, I've kind of found myself in a tedious little rut where I'm desperately trying to raise the levels of my Digimon by battling loads just to kind of match the difficulty of the cases I've got to do. So I don't kind of want to proceed if I'm going to be massively if it's not going to kind of go in my favour. I can't be dealing with it being exceptionally hard. But after obviously years of doing basically the same thing in every Pokemon game I've ever played, and just due to how much I'm enjoying the game as a whole, I'm still having a lot of fun doing it. But that's all I've really been playing. So with that, Joe, I shall hand things over to you.
Okie doke. Right, I suppose we better talk about what's coming out soon. Well, we all know that we're all looking forward to Far Cry 5, I think, but I think that's the 27th, so that's still a week or so away, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I don't even know what the date is today. What is it, the 19th? So that's 19th. Next week, isn't it? Yeah. Far Cry. Before that, we've got things like Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, which is out this week. AOT 2, Attack of the Titan 2, that is, isn't it? Sea of Thieves, which a few people's looking forward to, I believe. Titan Quest as well, which is coming from THQ Nordic. Arizona Sunshine, which Rob tells me has been out for a while digitally, but that's coming to retail for PSVR. Detective Pikachu, Ni no Cooney 2, A Way Out, and Max Cursed Brotherhood for Switch. So yeah, that's basically the games coming out this week. Is anyone looking forward to any of them?
Rogue, for sure. I cannot wait to review it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Ubisoft, where's our copy? They're probably not listening. But they've not given us a copy yet, you never know. We'll review it anyway, probably, but still, it's not the point. It would have been nice to do it before release, but well, I can't complain. So yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to any of them, to be honest. Let me have a look again.
I think Ni no Kuni will be fun, but I'm not looking forward. I wouldn't be getting it, if you know what I mean.
The thing is about that game is, I played the first one. Obviously, I've just said in this episode I don't really like Japanese games, but it's pretty damn good looking in it.
Yeah.
And it's a really sort of beautiful looking game. So I did try the first one, and to be fair, if I'd had more patience, I'd probably enjoyed it, but I wasn't really that keen on it, to be honest. I just couldn't sit through it all, but it's fantastic. It's just one of those games that just you want to play it just because of how it looks. You know what I mean? Just because of the graphics are nice. So
yeah, it's got quite a big fan base. I've seen loads on it. So
yeah, I can imagine. I can see why, to be honest, but it's not really something that's for me. But I can see why it would be so popular. But yeah. But now, apart from that, there's nothing really that I can say stands out for me. I think the next game I'm probably really looking forward to, is God of War. But Far Cry, I guess, kind of stands out. That's out soon. I'll give that a go. But other than that, I think the next big game I'm looking forward to is God of War. I think I can't really see anything else that's sticking out. Maybe there'll be something small that I don't know about yet, but I think that's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And it looks great too, so even better. So yeah, anyone got anything else to say about what's coming out this week?
Nope.
nope.
Okay, right, before we go, don't forget you can follow us on twitter.com/square_XO, or on patreon.com/squarexo, or on twitch.tv/squarexo. Our website's at www.squarexo.co.uk, and if you fancy wearing our t-shirt, that's at squarexo.co.uk/merchandise. You can listen to us on iTunes, on Podbean, on YouTube, and we've also submitted our podcast to Spotify for those who've been asking, but I hear it's quite difficult to get on there, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but I've tried, so that's all I can do. And I'll keep trying, and then one day it will be on there and you can all say yes.
They'll cave eventually.
So there we go. Sorry I never mentioned all that stuff at the start, I just forgot, but hey, you've been listening and you're hearing it now, so I can't complain too much. Dan completely forgot last week, so I'm not the only one. So yeah, don't forget though, our t-shirts are awesome, so you should check them out because they're pretty cool. I think I must get myself one, or one of the beanie hats or something. See, it's a shame we're not in video because we could all be wearing the merchandise and then everybody could see how cool it is.
Yes, I will have to invest in one of the t-shirts and do some modelling. So
yeah,
me and you've got the old ones, haven't we, Nicole?
We have, yeah.
You need to wear your old. Well, you need to get a new one, Rebecca.
A new one, yeah.
Wear it to what do you call it?
Plan, EGX.
And Rezzed with a SquareXO beanie at Rezzed. So
might be hot inside, but I'll see what
Okay, so yeah, I think that's just about that then. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll be back for episode 55 soon, before you know it. Thanks. We'll speak to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.